All right, we'll call the time meeting to order, March 4th, regular board meeting. We'll call the meeting to order with a moment of silent meditation, please. All right, can we have the pledge of allegiance to the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, it looks like this might be a short meeting, we'll see. If it isn't, it isn't. Can we have the adoption of the agenda?
A motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
Who second?
Second.
Jason by second. We'll, the approval of the adoption of the agenda. All say aye or no?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Approval of the agenda has been accepted. We have before us the consent agenda. Can we have the approval of the consent agenda?
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
All right, motion by Ed, second by Betty. We approve the consent agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. The consent agenda has been approved. Okay, Mr. Manager, take off.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Item number 5 on the agenda. This is for information. It's a presentation by our colleagues at Dare County, including Donna Kreef, planner, and Dorothy Hester, public information officer. This is on the 2020 census.
Thank you. Good evening. Good evening. Thank you for having me tonight. Donna did plan to be here. Unfortunately, she had to be out of town, so she's unable to be with me. I'm Dorothy Hester. I'm the Public Information Officer for Dare County. And I also have the honor of serving as co-chair of the Dare County Complete Count Committee, which is a group of individuals, and you all have a representative, of course. Melissa Dickerson is your representative, and we're working and have been meeting since the early fall to put together an action plan to spread the word, to encourage people to respond when they receive their invitation. And here we are in March, and this is the month that our citizens are going to get their invitations to respond. So that's why Donna and I wanted to come out and make everyone aware, and over the next few weeks you're going to start seeing a lot more. If you're on social media, you're going to see a lot more about encouraging people to respond and why they should respond, because it is important. This is the logo that we are using for our local Complete Count Committee, and we do have a site on the Dare County website. We have a page that has frequently asked questions and provides all the information that we think most people are going to need as they start to think about whether or how to respond, not whether. We know they're going to respond. We're going to try very, very hard. The goal of the census is to count everyone once and only once and in the right place. And everyone counts. You know, small kids, these young families that have small kids, they need to count all of their kids. I'm looking at you, Eddie. If you have parents, aunts, uncles, anyone in the household as of April 1st should be counted. So that's I wanted to review the goal there. This next slide I don't really like to show, although I will tell you I was not on the Complete Count Committee in 2000. I was working for the county, but you can see our self-response rate as compared to the state was very, very low. In 2000, it was 37%. We got that up to 78% in 2010, and we're shooting for 82% Donna and I laugh and say, oh, we think we can do better than that. The 82% is the governor's goal for this year. So we're working hard to meet that goal. Laverna and I were talking before the meeting about how important the census is. I think a lot of times people might receive the invitation and think, why do they want, Laverna said they think the government's being nosy. And some people might perceive it that way, but it is vital for several reasons. The political representation, it's used for redistricting at the national, state, and the local levels. And there is talk of North Carolina gaining an additional congressional seat in this census. The economic impact is also very, very important. $675 billion is distributed based on the numbers at the federal level. I think around $16 billion is what North Carolina receives. And it impacts a lot of things that we might not think about every day. In Dare County, we talk a lot about bridges. You know, we don't go many places without crossing bridges. And it does affect future transportation needs. That's one of the things that they look at. But there are lots of other things. There's education, health care, social services, and emergency response. So just really everything in our everyday lives is impacted. So this is the first year that our folks are being encouraged to respond online. Now, not everyone's going to do that, but this 2020 is the first time that has been an option. And the invitations, as I said, they're telling me that people will receive them between March 12th and 20th, so that's as early as next week. And you don't have to respond online. There's a telephone number you can call, or you can fill out that old-fashioned form and return it that way. But they are emphasizing the computer-based response because that's convenient for a lot of people. Our libraries, I know some people don't have internet access, or, you know, the libraries are open. When they're open, they're available, and they're a place to go. And they can't help answer the questions, but they can get someone online and kind of set them up to answer the questions. And if that doesn't work, the telephone would be the best way. This is an example of what that invitation is going to look like. It'll be in an envelope. And you can see there's a spot there for the census ID number. And that's the number that you'll have to enter when you're to answer the questions. And that's what connects to your household. So in other words, that's how they're going to identify a particular household. One of the things that we know is they do not mail to P.O. boxes. And Mr. Ayers and I talked about this earlier this week. A lot of our citizens use post office boxes. And if that's the way you have your mail delivered, you're actually going to get the invitation delivered to your doorstep, because they do not mail to P.O. boxes. And that's one of the reasons they're advertising for so many jobs. And I did talk to our representative today, there are still jobs available if anyone has time. He couldn't tell me how long they'll be accepting applications, but as of today and this week they are. They pay $17 an hour plus mileage. And there is flexibility in different types of jobs, so that's something to consider for people that might have some time and be able to do that. One of the things that's being stressed this year is the privacy and confidentiality. That's a big piece for folks in this day and age, the security of their data and so forth. But there is something that's important to note is they do not ask for a Social Security number or a full Social Security number. No money or donations. There's no political party involved, and they're not going to ask for any PIN numbers or passwords or anything of that nature. So we always want people to know that their information is safe. In fact, they don't release the census information by law for 72 years. So for those who go on Ancestry.com, you can't find the actual census data it doesn't go back that very far, really. So let's see. I think that's really all that I have. Melissa, I brought you a bag of some handouts to help circulate around town. We have some posters coming. I hope to get those to you tomorrow because we would ask for the town's help in the high traffic areas, helping us get the businesses, also possibly sending a message to citizens that week that they'll be getting it, just to remind them that it's coming and to encourage them. I have some sample messages if I can help with anything like that, but anything we can do, and we just appreciate your support. I know y'all passed a resolution in the fall and appreciate that, and we just be partners and tell everyone you know, complete the census when you get the invitation.
Thank you, Dorothy.
Sure, any questions, anything else? Okay, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you again.
Next up on the agenda, this is item number 6, public comment. This is for information. Members of the public are invited to address the Board of Commissioners on any topic. Public comment is not intended to require the board to answer any impromptu questions or to take any action on items brought up during the public comment period. Speakers will address all the comments to the board as a whole and not one individual commissioner. Discussions between speakers and members of the audience will not be allowed. Time limits are 3 minutes per person or 5 minutes per group. Please come forward to the podium and identify yourself so that your statements can be recorded.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners, Mayor Pro Tem. My name is Coquetta Laverna C. Brooks, and I reside in Manteo, outside town limits. I am here to express my concern regarding the tree pits located on Sir Walter Raleigh Street here in Manteo. I would like to begin with all things positive. The suggestion and/or idea to implement the project were well received. In the beginning, it was nice to see the trees and the decorations during the holiday months. It appeared as a gesture to blend and unify the community as a whole. We know that trees have a purpose to help the planet with air, water, and have been known to help with health issues and seeing the beautification of life. The location of the tree pits were always a safety issue. If you were circling the roundabout and approached Mr. and Mrs. Bryant's house after school, during the holidays and/or weekends, while the tree was in full bloom, you will likely not see the children playing. The tree pits are now just a nasty distraction to the lovely Black history that now accompanies Sir Walter Raleigh Street, i.e. Mrs. Delaware Collins Memorial Gardens, our historical churches, the Pea Island Life Saving Station Cookhouse, Roanoke Island Head Start, and the Captain Richard Etheridge statue. The tree pits have not been maintained and are now, as I speak, unkept. I would like for them to be removed and an adjacent sidewalk installed and possibly a speed bump near the park for the children. Thank you so very much for your attention to this matter.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next, anyone? Would anybody else like to be heard? Always ask 2 or 3 times. Nobody? All right, we'll call the, there you go.
Hello, how are you all today? My name is Radasha Gregory, and I just kind of wanted to reiterate what Ms. Laverne was saying about the around the tree pit areas. My son is here tonight. He's one of the young men that cross the street to go over to the playground, and as you can see by his height, it is an issue with people coming past. He's also very interested in riding dirt bikes and four-wheelers with his cousins. They have a nonprofit called the Garage Boys, and I thought someone would be here to represent them, but they were talking about some property that they were interested in purchasing to try to have an area for the young guys to ride all of those type of things. So I was interested in coming out and hearing more about that. But I just wanted to mention that those are 2 issues that we have been discussing a lot in our community. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Would anybody else like to be heard? Matthew, come forward.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Murphy Bryant, and me and that's my wife, Equilla Bryant, and we've been down Good Street now going about 30, 40 years. And cars just go about 40 and 50 miles an hour. And really what they need is you need them things that I said that can slow them down. And plus, like Laverne said, if them things on the side there that had flowers in them, ain't no flowers in them no more. They need to be removed because the car went in that Sunday, made a U-turn, come back and run over the whole thing. Yeah, so he said he ain't, I don't see why doing that there. So it needed to be removed. Thank you.
Thank you, Matthew.
Hi, my name is Priscilla Hardy, and I'm a concerned grandparent. I'm going along with Laverne and Matthew. Y'all just don't see how it is with little children going back and forth across that road. And the cars are coming through. We had our sheriff department come out there and stand, sit around and see how fast them cars, catch them sometime, but I know the sheriff department had other things to do. Just sitting there all the time. But see, it really scares me. It really scares me because I've been dreaming about one of them kids is gonna get hit. And the cars that go by, boom. You mean they don't care if them kids out there playing or not. They need something to slow them down. And as a grandparent, I wish and pray and hope I live to see something slow it down, even them little speed, but I would love to see it. And there's a lot of parents would love to see it too. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else? Would anybody else? Oh,
Yep.
come on. How are you?
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. God bless everyone. My name is Aquila Bryant. That's my husband. That's twin sister, as you know. I'm a little hoarse tonight. But my main concern is, I know when they first started putting up the flowers, it was beautiful. But my main concern is we have a playground across the street, which the kids, mixed color, white, black, whatever, goes out and they play. And there are people going out, just like she was saying, first thing in the morning, I'm up by 7 o'clock in the morning, make sure the kids are up, catching the bus. They do not recognize, the speed limit is 20 miles an hour. 20 miles an hour. And this is downtown. You wouldn't see a car come down here, up here, going 40 and 50 miles an hour. You would see that. And they're doing it, they're taking advantage, and I don't think it's right. It's all different, black and white, flying like that. And it's wrong. And my concern is that the kids play out there, and sometimes there's grown men, teenagers out there smoking. I don't know what they're smoking or what they're dropping on the ground or why, but I don't want to see anybody get hurt or anybody to hit on drugs or anything, but I know it's out there. So I would please our policemen, please take more attention to the cars flying through there. First thing in the morning and sometime late in the evening, going 50, I'm not talking about 20, sometimes 50 miles an hour, don't even care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
And that's the same spot we were talking about. You had tried to put in a speed bump before, right? Right in front of the.
Yeah, we tried the DOT to put a speed bump there. We also put a crosswalk there, remember? Put the crosswalk there, and then a few days later, DOT came, took it out. So,
Well, let's hold this for discussion later on. We'll put it on the agenda, but this shouldn't be discussed now at the public comment period. Anyone else like to be heard? All right, we'll close the comment period and move on.
Next up on the agenda, item 7, new business. This is discussion and consideration of recycling contract amendment. If I may, Mr. Mayor, provide a little background on this. As indicated in the package that was posted on the website, the town of Manteo, like other municipalities here in Dare County, we've received information from our recycling contractor, Bay Disposal, regarding our contract. This contract was effective June 13th, 2017, and at their request was a 5-year contract to provide recycling containers, roll carts, that they would collect them and transport them to an appropriate recycling materials handling and disposition facility. We actually have received notice both from Bay Disposal as well as from the state that the situation has changed. The Department of Environmental Quality, or DEQ, they issued a letter on January 15th, 2020, indicating that Bay Disposal had requested and the state had granted a temporary 3-month authorization for Bay Disposal to transport recyclables to a waste-to-energy incinerator. They said they were doing that because the materials recovery facility up in Currituck was no longer accepting recyclables. So as Bay Disposal came into the town, there were 2 key issues. Number one, the section of the contract states that in no case shall recyclable materials be disposed of in a landfill or incinerator facility. Well, Bay Disposal, as they've requested the state, they've requested us to waive or suspend this contract condition. Secondly, Bay Disposal is requiring a 50% cost increase in the unit cost for the curbside roll cart program unless otherwise they would discontinue their service if this increase is not met. Of course, there's no term or condition in the contract which would allow a unilateral price increase. So we are, right now, we're trying to make sure we gather information, what other municipalities are doing, what the state is allowing, and right now they're halfway through their 3-month temporary allowance to move forward with a waste-to-energy incinerator as opposed to a full recycling program. So there are certainly many steps that the town can take and different options to be considered. And I also understand there may be a keen desire to participate in some form of community engagement as we assess the situation that's been brought to us by this contractor.
And the increase is from 40,000 to 80,000?
Let's see, it's a 50% increase. This particular increase is based on the original $895 base price plus taxes and fees. They were asking for another $452 per cart, just a little over 50%, and that would tag us. So that would tag us for $15,000 to $20,000 per year just on the current increase. But unfortunately, when I asked them if that would be the last price increase or in term, they could give no such assurance.
Well, you know, to be fair, it would seem to me like we'd have to have an open discussion with the community and have a community meeting and let the people who participate in this program, how many people participate percentage-wise in Dare County? How many in Manteo?
Yes, sir. The initial information that we got that was gathered by the town clerk and the public works director indicates we may have a percentage of our people, so the percentage of the people who are already getting sanitation service, it may be in the 25 to 30% range, or 25 to 33% range, depending on the number of carts. But that's about how big a participation rate we have right now.
Well, they're certainly not being bashful with a 50% increase all of a sudden. Any comments from commissioners, anyone? I would suggest we put it somehow, do we have a time limit, did you say?
No, Mr. Mayor, they did not give us a time limit for getting them back to the contract. However, if the board should desire, we can get the word out through social media, news reports, website, and other means, and as well as notices to try and perhaps put this on the workshop agenda in 2 weeks so the public has a chance to comment on this situation.
I think that's what we need to do. I don't know about the rest of the board. I just make suggestions. The board will vote on it, but we need to take it to the community since it's only 15, 20, 25%, and they got a 50% increase that the public has a right to have an input in this along with us, the commissioners. I hope the commissioners feel that way, but let's hear from you.
Yeah, definitely agree. I mean, you hate to punt off every issue, but this is a big impact, and certainly in today's climate, it's, I mean, one of the options here, there's no guarantee we get rid of recycling that people could get their own. We'd have to have a certain number of subscribers for them to come to Manteo at all. So you're talking about a possibility of eliminating all recycling, and that's a big impact. At the same time, we don't want to, the approach from a business standpoint, it's unethical the way that they've come and changed the rules in the middle of it, and the amount of money they're asking for is not a huge change, but the way they asked for it and the fact that it could change again, they even alluded to that, so it's
Yeah. Anyone else?
yeah.
I feel the same.
Can we suggest then we put it on the workshop as the town manager has suggested? Okay. I don't think we need to vote on that. do
No,
we?
sir. No, sir. We'll make sure to get the word out.
Yeah, get the word out to the people and then.
Great.
All right, I don't have any comments. Betty? Suggestions,
Just
comments?
Comments, yes. I want to thank the citizens that come out to share their concern about public safety and our children, something that's really near to my heart. Of course, everybody knows how I feel about children. Thank you so much for coming out, and it's well noted.
Darrell?
I'd like for the manager to coordinate with the chief of police to check out the speeding on Sir Walter Raleigh Street on the west side. And don't give warning ticket, give a ticket.
Okay.
I kind of like to piggyback on that, and maybe we could, the town manager could contact our DOT representative to see about traffic control in that area, about possible changes from the previous time to now, if we can do some traffic control devices to slow down traffic for the future.
Jason?
Yeah, again, echo that. Only thing I'll add is they are doing it over here too. I mean, it's sitting in front of the inn. You see people riding, hugging in front of the inn on their bikes, and then you see the cars fly up the other way around the corner. And so, you hate for the worst to happen on either side of the highway to get a speed bump in some places where it should be.
All right. Then I think I'm hearing from the board that we'll let the town manager first speak to the chief of police about the matter, and then if we need further resolve, we'll bring it up and put it on the next meeting agenda. I think I'm hearing some of them saying they want to get rid of those barriers, and some they want the speed definitely checked on, and maybe speed bumps or something of this nature, something to correct the situation. So I'll assure you all, as the mayor, which I have the right to set the agenda, that it will be on probably the April, will that be all right? All right, the April agenda, that we'll either take some action, see where we've been from now until April. Is that satisfactory? Okay. All right. Is there anything else come before the board? All right. Then we have a motion to adjourn, or recess.
A motion to recess.
All right, we'll stand recessed until March the 18th.
I'll second.
I'm sorry. March the 18th at remember, it's 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock.
March the 18th.
Yes, sir.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.